I went to one support meeting at Kent State University for birth moms. There was like 4 of us. And then I just never went back. I don't know why.
This is something that I talk to families about all the time. And I've talked to other attorneys about it. Knowing what I know now, no, I didn't. They made promises up and down about counseling thereafter. They made promises about all different kinds of things. And what I thought I was getting at the time, I thought was great. My problem was always they promised counseling, post-placement counseling. I called them about a year after I had placed and cried. I cried to them and I was like, I am 100% sure of my decision. However, I'm in my feelings. You told me that there was counseling. I would just really like to talk to somebody who maybe knows a little bit more about this. Can even just somebody from your office call me back?
I think I probably should have continued that. And for whatever reason, I just decided I just didn't.
Did the attorney or any agency that you worked with offer you anything or suggest it?
No, not really. I wish they had. I did do a talk to prospective birth parents for her once, and behind my mom's back. You have to understand, my mother was so ashamed of me that if the doorbell, when I was late in my pregnancy especially, if the doorbell rang, she would throw a blanket on me. She wanted no one to know.
Never heard back from them. It has been radio silence, and I will say that even today, working in this field, I have reached out to that agency and they still don't. They've never returned my calls. They have never returned my emails with me saying, hey, I would really like to talk to you about working with you with families. I've never gotten anything back, which, I think is crazy, seeing as I actually placed with them.
They've been dead for almost 12 years now. They died in 2007. And that experience of like how I was treated by them is something that I won't forgive. I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
But they were so ashamed. My mom's best friends in the world that are still here and alive don't even know anything about it.
It's tough knowing today, and I've even talked to, the family that adopted my son about it, and that was a service that they paid for. That was included in their payments. And this attorney, and he's well known all over the state of Florida, that wasn't something that they provided. And I think that if a woman it doesn't matter how long that they've placed, it could be 2 years, it could be 5 years later. If she's wanting to talk to someone about that, that should be a service that whoever she placed with should always provide. And because sometimes we just get in our feelings, and it's not that we regret our decision, it's just that we just want to talk to somebody who knows more about it.
Knowing now that the open adoption experience is truly more open, that prospective birth mothers should feel more comfortable about the process, because it sounds to me from what you've shared is that they won't go through what I went through, and that I wanted that openness to continue and it never did. And the crushing burden of knowing that something that a relationship, I didn't expect a relationship where we would be friends and have contact after 18. And I would have loved that, to be honest with you.
And it's less about the families and more about the moms. And that's what I try to, educate everybody on, is if we could just, realize who this is really about. And it is about the mom and she's placing. And, there's always somebody who is upset. It's either a family that mom decided not to place, or it's a mom who actually delivered a baby and has to walk out of the hospital without one.
Here's the thing, Becca, I don't know if they ever shared any of the letters I gave her. I sent letters for years. I kept all the letters that I was given by her mom too, by the way, by Carol. I still have those letters, that corresponding letters to this day, and every picture to this day. And I think there must have been a fear when they saw me in the street, even though it was she was about 6 years old. Maybe their fear was like I was going to come out of the woodwork somehow.
And if everybody could just take a second to realize that adoption is not all happy and rainbows, and there is a bad side to it from one perspective of another, I think it would really help.
Adoptive parents, would I please ask you to do? Hearing my story, I think that my story is a bit sad. I mean, could have been so much more fulfilling for her. I think that I don't want any adoptive parent to make a promise of openness and then renege upon that to the birth mother.
You see a lot of people out there that just sugarcoat it and think that it's, all amazing. It's not. It's sad. It's heart-wrenching, but it's also bittersweet.
Because you have to understand that there's a reason, huge reasons why we can't keep these children. And usually it's most likely financial and lack of familial support. It's not because we don't love them or care about them or think about them, as I do every day of my life. If you go into the open adoption, is to set your expectations with this birth mother or birth family early before you sign that paperwork.
For me, I know I did good, and I know that I placed my son with somebody who loves him and cares for him and would give him the world. Anyone in their family, they were there when I delivered him. They were there when I found out he was a boy. They were there through the whole process, and I am just wholeheartedly thankful for them.
And understand too that your child, if brought up in an open adoption situation from the get-go, being honest and open with that birth parent, that's just an additional member of the village.
Somehow or another, my path was led to them, and I ended up placing, with them, because they have always shown me the utmost respect, no matter where on the spectrum I came from. I pretty much was the lowest level. I didn't have a job. I didn't have anything, and they still have always respected me. And that is something that I think that families, need to understand, is there's a level of respect that, birth moms, such as myself, need to get, no matter where they come from.
It's there that could support your child. So your child knows that the birth mother didn't do it out of spite or because they didn't love that child. Because adoption is the biggest form of love a birth parent can give to anyone. I mean, that's a big deal.